Today we are drawing Armaldo, the plate Pokémon. Game Freak wants you to look at this creature and see a terrifying apex predator from the ancient past. A primordial beast that ruled the prehistoric oceans before the continents even formed. But let's be entirely honest with ourselves for a second. This thing has the exact same energy as a retired boomer who was forced to re-enter the workforce because his pension collapsed in the 2008 financial crisis. As I start blocking out the rough sketch and the basic structural shapes here, you can immediately see the ergonomic tragedy of its design. Look at this posture. It is standing completely upright, on two stubby legs, with zero understanding of what to do with its arms. It's just a fossilized crustacean holding its massive claws awkwardly in front of its chest. Like it's waiting in line at the DMV and doesn't know where to put its hands. I am sketching these basic overlapping ovals for its armor plates, which are entirely useless. This Pokémon didn't ask to be here. It was taking a peaceful 100-million-year nap in the Earth's crust. It was enjoying the ultimate retirement. Completely off the grid. Living rent-free in the sediment. And then some tech bros at the Devon Corporation decided to play God with a piece of amber. They resurrected it in a sterile corporate lab, stripped it of its ancient dignity, and handed it to a 10-year-old child to fight wild pigeons. Imagine waking up from a multi-million-year slumber, expecting to be in the primordial soup. And the first thing you see is a guy in a lab coat handing you a performance review. It's an absolute HR violation. Anyway, let's start moving into the clean line art phase here, and tear apart this absolutely delusional Pokédex lore. According to the official records, Armaldo's enormous, retractable claws can cut through solid steel plates. Cut through steel plates. Bro. If that were actually true, why does its early move pool consist of scratch and water gun? You expect me to believe this ancient bipedal shrimp can effortlessly dice through industrial-grade titanium, but it struggles to knock out a level 4 Zigzagoon. Armaldo isn't built different. It's just running a massive PR campaign to hide the fact that it's washed up. Let's focus the line art around the face. Specifically these ridiculous, protruding eyeballs. I am drawing these eyes sticking straight out of the sides of its head because, for some reason, this so-called apex predator has zero forward-facing vision. It has the binocular depth perception of a 2006 webcam. If you throw a pokeball directly at its face, it literally cannot see it coming. It just stares blankly at the peripheral walls, looking like it's constantly scanning the room to see if upper management is watching it work. It's completely incapable of looking its opponent in the eye, which perfectly tracks with its raging social anxiety. And what are these weird, red, wing-like appendages sticking out of its neck? I'm drawing them in now, and they make absolutely no anatomical sense. Are they gills? Are they aerodynamic neckties to adhere to the Devon Corporation dress code? Nobody knows. They just sit there, flapping uselessly in the wind, adding unnecessary air resistance to an already structurally compromised dinosaur. Then we have its supposed evolutionary milestone. The Pokédex proudly states that its pre-evolution, Anorith, lived entirely in the ocean. But over time, it evolved to go ashore and live on land. Why? Why would you ever do that? It had a perfect life swimming in an endless ocean with zero responsibilities, zero property taxes, and zero seasonal allergies. And it willingly chose to crawl out of the water, invent gravity, and start commuting on foot. That is the worst career move in biological history. It traded the buoyancy of the ocean for chronic lower back pain and a mandatory return-to-office mandate. Now that the line art is finally done, let's start laying down some flat colors. We're going with this dull, highly uninspiring, washed out cyan and yellow palette. It's the exact color scheme of a defunct laser tag arena from 1996. I am filling in the armor plates with this flat blue, trying to capture the absolute lack of joy in its current existence. These colors perfectly reflect its internal misery. It isn't vibrant. It isn't intimidating. It just looks like it's been left out in the sun for entirely too long and the plastic is starting to degrade. Let's dive into its typing while I shade these plates. Rock and bug. On paper, you might think it sounds mildly interesting. In reality, it is a biological paradox designed to punish it for existing. Remember how the lore explicitly states it was an aquatic creature that hunted in the ocean? Well, Mother Nature decided to patch that out in the latest update. Because it is a rock type, it is fundamentally terrified of water. It went from being a master of the primordial seas to taking massive, super effective damage if a standard lawn sprinkler hits it. Imagine spending millions of years as a sea bug, evolving to walk on land, and suddenly a light drizzle sends you straight to the emergency room. It's a creature that is permanently homesick for the ocean, but will literally dissolve if it tries to go back. That is a level of existential tragedy that Shakespeare couldn't even write. I'm laying down some darker shadows under these massive, cumbersome tail spikes. Look at this tail. It looks like a bizarre, prehistoric ironing board dragging behind it. Every step it takes is a physical struggle against its own body weight. It is entirely encased in heavy rock armor. Yet it has the bug typing, meaning it still possesses the fragility of a standard household insect. It is wearing a full suit of plate mail. But if a small bird looks at it the wrong way, it has a complete nervous breakdown. As we move into the final detailing phase, let's talk about how this absolute fossil actually performs in the video games. Let's talk about its base speed stat. 45. It has a base speed of 45. A paralyzed Snorlax sliding across a linoleum floor moves faster than Armaldo does on its best day. When you send this thing out into battle, it just stands there, dissociating into the middle distance while the opponent sets up 3 layers of spikes, a sword's dance, and checks their email. And then we have to discuss its hidden ability, Swift Swim. Let me break down the absolute cruelty of this mechanic. Swift Swim doubles the Pokémon's speed when it is raining. Management gave this creature an ability that requires heavy rain to function, but gave it a typing that takes critical damage from water. That is the equivalent of giving a lactose-intolerant employee a mandatory cheese-tasting assignment. Hey Armaldo! Great news! You can finally move at a reasonable pace. But the catch is you have to stand in a chemical acid bath to do it. It is genuinely malicious game design. So what does it actually do in a competitive match? It functions strictly as a suicide lead. Its entire purpose in life, the sole reason it was resurrected from a peaceful 100 million year slumber, is to walk onto the field, throw some stealth rocks on the ground, and instantly die. That's it. That is its entire contribution to society. It's the ultimate middle management experience. You show up, do the meaningless prep work for the actual talented employees, take the blame for everything, and get escorted out of the building by security. I'm adding some aggressive highlights to these giant, useless claws to really emphasize how sharp they allegedly are. They look incredibly threatening. Until you remember it moves so slowly that you could literally walk away from it at a brisk pace and completely avoid taking damage. I'm also adding some chipped details to the rock armor, because a creature this obsolete definitely has terrible joint health. And let's not forget its primary attack, X-Scissor. It crosses its arms and slashes the opponent. But look at its anatomy. I just spent 30 minutes drawing it. Its arms are too short to comfortably cross over its massive chest plate. Every time it uses its signature move, it is absolutely throwing out its own shoulder. It's causing permanent ligament damage just to deal mediocre chip damage to a Blissey. I'm blending the background now, using a murky, earthy brown to represent the dirt it desperately wishes it was still buried in. And there we have it. The finished masterpiece. A beautifully rendered, highly detailed monument to biological regret and corporate exploitation. Look at it. Just standing there, radiating ancient, unbothered depression. It teaches us a very important, highly grounding philosophical lesson. Sometimes, evolving and stepping out of your comfort zone is the worst possible thing you can do. You might leave the ocean hoping for a better life, only to end up as an underpaid, overweight rock bug that is fatally allergic to tap water. So, yeah. If you want to see me sketch and roast more tragic victims of the Pokémon evolutionary timeline, do the usual internet things. Like the video. Drop a comment if you've ever felt as fundamentally outdated and exhausted as this Armaldo. And subscribe if you feel like it. Or don't. I'm going to go lie face down on the studio floor and think about the Cambrian explosion for the rest of the afternoon. Goodbye.